There was once a great Zen master who had many disciples. He was known for his wisdom and compassion, and his teachings were sought after by people from all walks of life. One day he noticed that one of his disciples was very lazy. He would always sleep late, skip his meditation, and avoid doing any chores. He would also complain about everything and blame others for his problems. The master decided to teach him a lesson. He called the lazy disciple and said, "I have a special task for you. You must go to the nearby mountain and bring me back a flower that grows there. It is very rare and beautiful, and it has a sweet fragrance. It is called the lotus of enlightenment. You must find it and bring it to me before sunset, or else you will be expelled from the monastery." The lazy disciple was shocked and scared. He had never heard of such a flower, and he did not want to climb the mountain. He thought that the master was being unfair and cruel. He reluctantly agreed to do the task, hoping that he would find the flower easily. He set off for the mountain, carrying a basket and a water bottle. He walked slowly and lazily, stopping every now and then to rest and drink. He did not pay attention to the beauty of nature, nor to the sounds of the birds and the wind. He only thought about how hard and boring his task was. He reached the foot of the mountain and looked up. He saw that the mountain was steep and rocky, and that there were many paths leading to the top. He did not know which one to take, and he felt confused and frustrated. He decided to take the easiest and shortest path, hoping that it would lead him to the flower. He started to climb the mountain, but soon he realized that the path was not easy at all. It was narrow and slippery, and it had many twists and turns. He had to dodge the thorns and the rocks, and he had to balance himself carefully. He felt tired and thirsty, and he wished he could go back. He continued to climb, but he did not see any sign of the flower. He only saw the same dull and dry scenery, and he felt more and more bored and angry. He wondered why the master had given him such a stupid and impossible task. He thought that the master was lying to him and that there was no such thing as the lotus of enlightenment. He reached the halfway point of the mountain, and he decided to give up. He thought that it was useless to go on, and that he would never find the flower. He decided to lie to the master and tell him that he had searched everywhere, but he could not find the flower. He hoped that the master would believe him and let him stay in the monastery. He turned around and started to descend the mountain. He felt relieved and happy, thinking that he had escaped from his trouble. He walked faster and more carelessly, not paying attention to where he was going. He did not notice that the path was becoming more dangerous and that he was heading towards a cliff. He reached the edge of the cliff, and he slipped and fell. He screamed and dropped his basket and his water bottle. He tried to grab something to stop his fall, but he could not. He fell down and down until he hit the ground with a loud thud. He lay there, motionless and bleeding. He felt a sharp pain in his chest, and he could not breathe. He realized that he was dying, and he felt a surge of fear and regret. He wished he had listened to the master and done his task properly. He wished he had been more diligent and attentive. He wished he had seen the lotus of enlightenment. He closed his eyes and waited for death to come. But before he died, he saw something that made him gasp. He saw a bright and beautiful flower growing right next to him. It was pink and white, and it had a golden center. It had a sweet and soothing fragrance, and it radiated a gentle light. It was the lotus of enlightenment. He reached out his hand and touched the flower. He felt a warm and peaceful sensation, and he heard a soft and kind voice. It was the voice of the master, saying, "My child, you have found the lotus of enlightenment. It was always there, waiting for you, but you could not see it, because you were too lazy and distracted. You wasted your time and your life, and you missed the opportunity to awaken. Now it is too late, and you have to face the consequences of your actions. But do not despair, for there is still hope. The lotus of enlightenment is a symbol of the true nature of your mind, which is pure and luminous. If you can recognize and realize this nature, you can be free from suffering and ignorance. You can attain enlightenment even at the moment of death. So do not be afraid and do not be attached. Let go of your ego and your delusions and embrace the lotus of enlightenment. It will guide you to the ultimate truth and bliss. The lazy disciple heard the voice of the Master, and he felt a flash of insight. He understood the meaning of the Master's words, and he realized the error of his ways. He felt a deep and sincere repentance, and he wished he could apologize to the Master and thank him for his compassion. He felt a profound and unconditional love, and he wished he could share it with all beings. He felt a clear and blissful awareness, and he wished he could abide in it forever. He let go of his fear and his regret, and he opened his heart and his mind. He saw the lotus of enlightenment, and he recognized it as his own true nature. He merged with the lotus of enlightenment, and he became one with it. He transcended his body and his mind, and he attained enlightenment. He was free from suffering and ignorance, and he entered the state of nirvana.